Okay, so Assalamu alaikum everyone. In these 5 minutes, I'll try to explain you the ascending tracks. Ascending track का second part है जिसमें I'll be telling you about the spinal laminiscus pathway. So इसमें what really happens is this, that you have your first order of neurons जो कि basically present होते हैं at the substantia gelatinosa. पहला जो होता है वो dorsal root ganglion में, then you have in the substantia gelatinosa, and then what really happens is this, that within the same spinal segment का part होता है, like this is the same spinal segment का part. इसमें you can see कि जो हमारे पास left side से nerve fibers आ रहे हैं, they come and they move towards the right side, which means कि crossing over हो गई है, decussation हो गई है. So ये fibers जो होते हैं ये cross over करके इस side पे आ जाते हैं. So here what makes up spinal lemniscus, 3 pathways होते हैं जो spinal lemniscus form करते हैं. You have your anterior pathway, lateral and spinotectal pathway. So anterior spinothalamic pathway, what basically happens is this, that the fibers, they come when they cross over, they come to the anterior white part of your spinal cord, so that, and then they ascend upwards, and this is your anterior spinothalamic pathway. Whereas talking about the orange one, which is the lateral spinothalamic pathway, what happens is this, that these fibers, these are the one which crossed over from the left side. So they crossed over, they came here, the decussation takes place, and this is happening in the same spinal segment, or जो decussation होती है, so they move towards the lateral part of your white matter. So this forms your lateral spinothalamic pathway. And then you have spinotectal pathway, that's coming like from in between your anterior and lateral pathway, and that's the spinotectal pathway. Spinotectal pathway, when talking about their functions, spinotectal, it is responsible like for your visual reflexes, for the movement of eyes and heads towards the source of stimulation. And the lateral one, which is present the most laterally, its main function is like for pain and temperature sensations. And the anterior one, that's responsible for your crude touch. Fine touch was dorsal medial laminiscus system. I've explained that in a previous video. So we're done with the functions. Then what really happens is this. So you have this one, this is your cerebral cortex, this one's your midbrain, this is the pons, medulla, and then your spinal cord. So these tracks, they ascend upwards, and what happens, there's something really amazing that happens in your medulla, midbrain, pons, medulla. So in the middle of your medulla, what happens is this, that all these 3 tracks, they come together and they form a laminiscus, they form a bundle of fibers. So all these fibers, they come together, and that those bundle of fibers, we say that that's a spinal laminiscus which is formed. So these 3 pathways, they ascend upwards they ascend upwards together in the form of spinal laminiscus, and all the way through half of your medulla, your pons, and your midbrain. Then what happens is this, that they come to their final destination is in the cerebral cortex, but they go to the thalamus, they go to the VPL portion of the thalamus, and then into so you have your internal capsule. This is the internal capsule that I've shown. The internal capsule has 2 limbs, the anterior limb and the posterior limb. So they go to their posterior limb of your internal capsule, and then they spread and in the form of corona radiata, and they move towards your cerebral cortex. All right, so that is it. These fibers, they are called corona radiata, and they go to your cerebral cortex. So this was it about your lateral spinal laminiscus pathway. These are all the important things that you need to know. And the last thing that I would like to highlight, like again, is the neurons. First order neuron is here, second order is substantia gelatinosa, and third order neuron is VPL. All right, so these were the important things that you need to know, as well as so first order neuron is your dorsal root ganglion, second order neuron is your substantia gelatinosa, and third order neuron is the VPL. That's it, guys. So good luck, and yeah, there you go. Bye bye. And if you want, you can take a screenshot.